Good morning. It's Monday and I'm Nancy Joy. This is kind of a personal story, but it shows you a route to healing through example. I have always said to love it all. You know, we have to learn to love it all, and that it's all about you. It's all about us. No matter what we create in our life, what situation, it really is about us, to help us, to expand us. We all know this on a level of consciousness. And yet we go through our lives, pretty sure we know who we are. And that image of who we are partially is from the feedback, from the mirror, from what we receive from others, from ourselves looking in a glass as we walk by, from how we feel we interact and who we perceive we are. But who we perceive we are is really just a perception, in the sense that we are all part of one God self, individuated, having individual experiences. So anyway, to make a long story shorter if I can, there was an issue that came up in my life with a friend, which I mentioned. And yes, the let go was what I talked about last time, a season, a reason, a lifetime. But that was one little piece, because what I was ignoring, it was true, but what I was ignoring underneath it is what my soul was trying to teach me. Now, we can't get carried away with this, but we have to be very aware, and the litmus paper test is, if we're still thinking about something and our minds are still wrapping us around the axle and our feelings are still aroused and agitated, it's not clear and we're not at peace. And that's our souls saying, there's more. Go inside. Don't look at just what it seems to be on the outside. Go inside. Go deeper. Go to a wound in you. That's what's being reflected in the inner mirror, a wound in you. So I traversed this road, making some progress on many different fronts, which are way too numerous to go into. But where I finally arrived was the true, what I call conscious compassion in my book, The Wounded Heart. And this is where it took me. A friend helped me by reminding me about a part in my book, a story about my mother, who I think I was maybe not that old, 6, 7, 8 maybe. And she came and picked me up at school, never did that, at lunchtime. And I thought she was coming to take me out to lunch, but oh no, I got in the car and she was just livid. She said, wait till we get home. I can't believe you did this to me. And I was clueless. I was stunned. I was shocked. I thought my mom was coming to love me, do something nice. And so we drove back to our house. She wouldn't talk to me. She hauled me out of the car, hauled me up the stairs, not brutally physically, but really moving me along, and stood me in front of this desk in my room, which was an antique desk that she collected antiques. And the night before, I had done a school project. I had made a farm, cut, paste, paper, staple, whatever you do to make a little construction paper farm. And I had a leather top, which had, I don't remember what was on it, but to her, I'd ruined it. I had ruined the desk. And she just went berserk. Never touched me, but she started crying and sobbing and saying how I didn't care about anything but me, how could I do this to her, on and totally off the wall. Now I can realize that wasn't what my mom was upset about. My mom's pain was much deeper than that. But at the time, as a little girl, that was a huge, deep wound. And so from that time on, what I discovered about myself is I decided things weren't important. Because if things are important, it's going to hurt you. She taught me that, didn't she? So I've always been pushing away things. And yet in my life, I attract people who are very attached to their things. And things are very important to them. And I judge that. And I look at them, well, how can things be important to you? Until my friend said to me, well, you're afraid to have things become important to you. Now, there's a balance here. I get it. I would not want to be overly into my things, but I could feel in my heart that that was true. I didn't want to be attached to my things. And it just suddenly made so much sense to me. And it became really clear that the words my mother said were to heal herself. They wounded me because I needed to travel back into my own heart, into It's All About Me, and discover that place inside of myself that was in so much pain. So when I attract this situation, even with the best of conscious intentions, what I tend to do is passive aggressively push this pain out and away from me onto another person. And there's much more to this story than that, but I cannot tell you how deeply and profoundly shifted I am with just this understanding, and so much at peace that I could then communicate my sincerest apologies for any damage my words had done, and really understand myself at a profound level, and that is conscious compassion. So when you look in the mirror this Monday morning, whether actually looking at your physical self or look in the mirror of who you think you are, and look at a situation in your life where you are judging someone by your own pain, because it's not what's in the mirror, it's what's left inside. And what's left inside is what your soul is unveiling to you. So have a great week this week. Thanks for listening. Onward we go, learning and growing with each other. Bye now.